Welcome to today, Monday, May the 1st, Committee of the Whole meeting. And we have one item on the agenda for this evening. It is Organizational Development Program Update. And we have Christy Rowland here to kick us off.
Good evening, Madam President and council members. Thank you for having us tonight. My name is Christy Rowland. I'm the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer and the Administrator of the Executive Services Department, which includes 5 divisions, one of which is the Organizational Development Program, which is particularly close to my heart, having done the work myself. I would like to provide some background on this division before Ryan presents his exceptional work. Nearly 10 years ago, a group of employees began a grassroots effort to embrace tools and methodologies of continuous improvement. We recognized that just collecting and measuring data alone is insufficient for improvement, that we needed a support system with tools and resources. Through this, we also learned that change, even for the better, requires a culture of openness, respect, and inclusivity, and we work to nurture those aspects as well. Throughout this journey, we have had unwavering support from the mayor and his leadership team, as well as from you as a body. You have also recognized that these efforts take time, patience, and tenacity, and the results are often intangible. Nonetheless, I believe you witnessed the fruits of these efforts in our city's nimbleness and resilience during the pandemic, a level that few other cities could match. Now, I am thrilled to introduce Ryan Spencer, who has been with our program for just 10 months. In that time, he has breathed new life into the program, elevating its purpose in a way that is particularly meaningful to our employees, and I'm very grateful for that. I am immensely proud of what he has accomplished, and I'm sure you will be too. Without further ado, I'll get out of the way and let him do the talking. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Good evening, Council. I'm Ryan Spencer, Organizational Development Manager with Executive Services. Thanks for having me here tonight. My plan is to share a brief overview of what the organizational development, we also call it OD, so you'll hear me reference that term throughout the presentation, but what the Organizational Development and Performance Program is really all about here in Renton, and the why we do it, and how we accomplish our goals, and a brief overview of some of our recent accomplishments, plus what we have slated for 2023. This will be the only slide that I read, I promise. The OD's mission is to provide leadership, direction, training, and expertise to facilitate systemic, team, and individual improvement throughout the organization. So what does that mean? Really means focusing on creating a continuous and learning and continuous improvement environment within the organization, providing staff with proper resources, skills, and knowledge, creating that culture that includes psychological safety when it comes to innovation and creativity and being able to try new things. It's about really empowering and engaging and supporting staff, and about process improvement, specifically, well, in all areas, but definitely with the focus in our communications, both internal and external improvements. It means the alignment of our efforts and collaborative problem solving. It's also the increased, as Christy mentioned, and improved use of data and metrics, leading to better evaluation of our programs and the value of our efforts. And being able to be effective and evaluate and adjust and move forward, and really telling our story. We also emphasize the awareness throughout the organization. Employees feeling like they're all headed in the same direction is extremely important. About bridging gaps and creating spaces or opportunities that promote relationship building and peer camaraderie, and really developing leaders at all levels of the organization. Organizational development works with all the other departments to provide these opportunities and deploy the tools and resources necessary to reinforce Renton maintaining a skilled, involved, informed, and high-performing workforce, ensuring that teams and individuals clearly see the commonality between the work that they do and the strategic direction and priorities of the city and our community, and that they're all part of something important, and we're all working towards achieving the same desired results for our community. So that's what we do. Why we do it? We do it because of the people, really because of our community and our employees. The creation of continuous improvement culture that OD program opportunities help support assists us with meeting the service demands and providing the high quality customer service that council and the mayor strive to provide to our community as stated in the business plan. Because we have an engaged, developed, appreciated, recognized, fulfilled workforce that all speaks the same language and have the same vision. The photo here is actually from one of our last lean process improvement belting programs that took place last fall. And the statement on the bottom, if you can see the statement on the bottom of our instructor slide, points out something that just really speaks to the vision of the organizational development program. And that's that it is really more about the way that people think and see, perceive, and act than it is about the tools. So this is what I mean when I say embedding this culture throughout or speaking the same language. If we're all looking at processes and procedures through the same lens, then continuous improvement can happen a little bit more naturally and efficiently with buy-in across all city departments. I just wanted to share some data that was gathered around what happens when we don't meet these needs. So this is courtesy of Gallup statistics that come from data that Gallup gathered from thousands of employees across the US and Western Europe. And this report brings to light the importance of the characteristics that I've been speaking to. So 5 times less likely to leave and see a path in the organization. We all know how much turnover can affect an organization's progression just due to constant training and resources to develop the skills of staff, sometimes on an annual basis because of the turnover. More productivity, 73% less likely to say that people are burned out. If they're engaged, involved, recognized, they feel more energized. And more connected, 5 times less, as likely to feel connected to the workplace culture. And that goes back to a couple of things I'll share of our recent accomplishments where we try to make it clear and tie in the vision and the priorities of the city, of council, of the mayor, and the community to the work that everyone does every day so they can see that we are all moving towards that bigger picture. In just the last 4 months, actually, in 2023, we have the OD program has teamed up with other departments and employees to coordinate, and outside vendors as well, to coordinate a variety of trainings and learning opportunities that we saw just over 300 different employees, so unique individual employees, over 300 take advantage and benefit from the trainings we've offered. So that's nearly 50% of our workforce. These 300 or so employees also totaled an overall, just over 4,800 hours of training. And again, the employee hours and figures are just in the last 4 months in 2023. Some of the items I've highlighted here on this slide took place this past fall, but I wanted to be sure and share them with you as they are trainings that focus really on the critical skills and knowledge that's fundamental to creating this culture and continuous improvement environment, as well as essential to best supporting the objectives within the business plan. So the equity and project management was a full day training that we provided to 99 employees last October. And this was strategically scheduled as we knew that we would be offering a project management fundamentals training starting in January. So it was really the vision of the OD program to get the training around applying the Renton equity lens to project management front and center and in the mind of everyone that potentially would then in January be going through the project management training and learning the fundamentals. They would have already seen how that equity lens is applied to project management as they go through that training. Also last fall from early September, we had 24 employees that took part in our lean process improvement belting program. And really about learning the basics of lean and how to apply lean strategies to practices in their everyday work, which I understand there's a Telly Savalas of lean process improvement in the council. So happy to hear about this. Also, one of the most enjoyable programs that I've been a part of is our new employee organizational awareness and culture orientation. So that is something I've done 2 of them now since I've been here. Plan on doing them about every 3 months. And we've had just over 70 employees go through the program. And this is really separate from the orientation that you may think of when you hear that word, the HR type orientation where we're discussing benefits and retirement options and things. This is more to continue building that culture and really organizational awareness with the new employees. So basically the mayor and CAO come and greet these new employees at the beginning and wrap up at the end of the orientation. And during the middle, me and about 12 of my colleagues from various departments go through everything from an overview of leadership and council, boards and commissions, organizational structure, departments, finance and budget, how we plan our budget every other year, city demographics and our programs focusing on inclusion and equity. Performance management and performance expectations are also laid out at that time. Employee health and safety programs, emergency management, and our role as a city and their role as an employee in preparedness, response, and recovery. And then, as I mentioned, about a dozen other employees, primarily from our internal services groups like the city clerk's office, IT, facilities, and organizational development, HR, risk management. We provide them with an overview of what we offer to them as an employee, what it means to be a City of Renton employee, and the services and resources that are available to them as being one. So that is a very rewarding program that we've started and really sets the tone for new staff coming on about what we aim to achieve and what being a city employee is all about. We just recently wrapped up a 10-week project management fundamentals course that I referenced earlier. About a quarter of those 48 people that took place in that also expressed interest in pursuing their project management professional certification. So just last week, got us all together, sat down, and lightly facilitated what a study group for that could look like. So hopefully you'll have some new PMPs on the payroll here in the city, hopefully within the next couple of months. We want to study a little bit, and having gone through the exam before myself, I know what to expect, so helping lead that charge. Another 8-week course that I'm proud of that we just wrapped up was a leadership, a how-to guide for supervisors, primarily focused at new to the supervisor role employees, but we actually had quite a few veterans sign up as well. This is a training we set out with supervisors, managers, and leads, covering topics such as facilitating trust, setting expectations and goals, delegation, coaching, providing and receiving feedback, and really continuing to build their network of peers. Through most all of the content everyone reviewed was online. We got together every Thursday for an hour to discuss that week's topic and learning and really create that community of practice and really expand on the supervisors network that they can reach out to and bounce ideas off of, or if they're facing challenges in the future, really meet and get to know people across the organization outside of their direct department or division. I've found that to be very, very helpful in most careers. The Greenbelt photo. So you may remember we visited you on January 9th for recognition of our Greenbelt graduate program from last fall. So with this crew here, as well as past cohorts of the Greenbelt, we now exceed about 30 staff in the organization. Every department is represented in those 30 employees, some with multiple, having the skilled lean practitioners embedded within their teams. Other learning highlights that I wanted to share, the Renton 101s that have become synonymous with the city of Renton. I even heard about them when I was at the city of Redmond, my previous employer. I had heard the rumors from friends down here about what Renton 101s were, and just thought it was a tremendous idea. Really, the 101s have continued. We partnered with SMEs within the organization or tapped into existing partners such as First Choice Health, our EAP provider. TLG is a software specialist that IT already worked with. And really, what Renton 101s have provided that consistent platform to arm the workforce with great tips and tricks, best practices, how-tos, and sometimes it's mere informational, like division or department showcases, again, to continue with that organizational awareness so that we can really gain efficiencies because we truly are aware of what's being worked on and the direction that we're heading. And we all know that we're working towards the same goals. One-on-ones in the last 4 months, we've held a communication and behavior series, which was very popular. So we're bringing that back to expand on it. We also have a health and safety series we partner with risk management's team just to we provided hazard reporting, preparing for work in the heat, and tried to be strategic about the topics that we cover with the timing of the year. And one that I'm very proud of, the Tech Tuesdays. So in January, we launched a new Renton 101 of sorts, Tech Tuesdays. I'm sure you can imagine it's Renton 101, but focused on technology. And we offered the first 8 weeks were solely focused on Microsoft 365 applications that we've all been using for at least 3 years now. A lot of them that were launched immediately for our needs when the pandemic hit, but nobody's really had a lot of formal training on it. So we wanted to bring instructors in and really go through our use of Teams and OneDrive and SharePoint and OneNote and just the myriad of programs or applications that we use every day and need to be more effective and efficient at. So that kind of kicked off the Tech Tuesdays. We're using this also as we migrate to our SharePoint Online, and we'll be using it for everything from Crystal Reports training that some staff have requested to running reports out of Eden. The gamut is really, there is really no limit. If we hear that there's a need for that technology type training, it'll be a Tech Tuesday. And it's kind of cool that Renton 101s and Tech Tuesdays, the jargon is embedded within the organization. I hear it quite often in a meeting that I'm a part of. Ooh, that could be a Tech Tuesday, or that could be a Renton 101. So it's kind of fun. We also coordinate the quarterly leadership team meetings. So this was where we offered the applying an equity lens to project management last October, and we're working on a emotional intelligence training this actually in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks on the 25th. About 80 people went through high performing organization, or also known as HPO training, in 2019. So we'll be using this quarterly leadership meetings to really enhance and kind of reinstitute the HPO training that some people have already received. It aligns with our values, our culture, and our objectives. And in my mind, really begins with the people. So that's why we're starting with the emotional intelligence, and then we'll subsequently in the quarterly meetings touch other topics of the HPO training that some have already received. Sorry. I'm going to move on to some stats. So these are the training hours. You heard me mention 300 staff, as well as 4,800 program or training hours in 2023. So this is a comparative graph here that you can see for training hours and employees served. So with the exception of the full year of 2022, we have exceeded our hours and employees served in the first 4 months of this year than we had seen in previous entire years. So we're on a great pace here to serve the entire organization and provide a lot of opportunities and learning and growth to all of our coworkers. Beyond the training and staff development, organizational development really gets involved in the process improvement side of things. What you see here is just a variety of projects that are underway now. Improvement endeavors, projects across the organization. Many of the projects will enable us to better serve our community. And once again, it relates back to the employee engagement and retainment and satisfaction as well. When people have the right resources to follow logical, efficient, and effective processes wherever possible, they're going to enjoy their jobs more, be more productive, have better experiences at work, and provide better experiences to our customers. Whether it has to do with process or with improvements to programs that fall under the OD division, like Renton Responds or data and analytics and performance measures, or if it is other departments or divisions simply looking for organizational development support, experience, and in some cases almost consulting, and applying the lean methodology and that way of thinking to the process or project that they're working on, OD is all in to help. The slide is just a handful of projects, as I mentioned, supporting others, really consulting on it, and Renton registration program between EHHS and code compliance, several IT projects like their work order replacement system, their website replacement. The OD division has gotten involved in that just to help provide experience, and also as we develop those programs, often help development of the process that goes along with the new program or revised program. Renton results, you've heard that term in the budget process. So Renton results is the data and metrics, key performance indicators, performance measures that are a part of the budget. That was pretty well defined when I started last July, but it's something that I really enjoy and have experience in. So we revised a few things going into the budget planning process last year, but really that's a major goal in this coming year, is to prep our performance measures and align them with the budget processes better, if I may say so, and better tell our story, better provide a results-based accountability view of the value of our efforts, not just the numbers of data or widgets if it's not really telling the story about the value of the program or where we may have gaps. So Renton results, you've heard that, and this is also the terminology we use on our internal SharePoint site for staff. So this was just a couple of screenshots from our intranet. The Renton results pages, you can see on the left-hand side there, the variety of topics that Renton Results and the OD program covers. There's even a question or a tile there that says ask a question. So if any staff has a need or just a question, isn't sure where to start, kind of look at the OD program, as it's always going to be the right start. They can come to me, and if I can't get the answer myself, then I'll certainly work with the rest of the agency or organization to find out where they can get the answer they need or the tools or resources they're looking for. And this was just a quick example of the Renton 101 library. It's grown enough to where even 2 screenshots would not fit the entire library in there. So we're pretty excited, and I'm building out the Tech Tuesday library just the same. That concludes the organizational development and performance presentation, really what we're about, what our goals are for this coming year, and certainly happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. So all good stuff, Ryan. I've always wondered, just in general, as I looked at the Renton 101 and Tech Tuesdays, what's the average attendance at those sessions?
Great question, and definitely depends on the topic. I would say anywhere from 40 to 50 for the topics that really touch everyone, like the Tech Tuesdays. Those 8 weeks, I'd say we had 40 to 50 every week. If it is kind of a unique topic, or maybe not as, organizational wide, more in the probably 20 to 30 range. Yeah. Although proud to say OD and U, that was the very first Renton 101 that I offered when I first started, just to tell them what my thoughts were and gather theirs. I really wanted to hear what people thought organizational development should be. I don't have the record anymore. That was surpassed last week, but I had about 80. about 80 people in it. Yeah. So serving quite a bit.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Thank you for your presentation.
Absolutely.
It's great having you. Are there any incentives for employees to participate in this?
That's a great question. No tangible incentives as far as, well, I'm sure you understand what I mean by that, but certainly incentives for their growth and their opportunities, incentives to be better at their jobs, provide better customer service. And I mean, my thought, if I'm a salesman telling people they should attend, is looking at the business plan. It aligns with the vision that came from you and the mayor and the community about providing top level customer service, meeting our service demands, and a skilled workforce, in my experience at least, does that better. And just some of the engagement stats that I gave. I think we all want to be happy what we're doing and happy at work. And when you're more effective and efficient at your job, typically you're going to be happier. And process improvement. To Council President O'Halloran's comments last week, I geek out on process improvement as well, but I've also seen the result of efficient internal processes usually relate more to a positive customer experience, where those complex and overcomplicated internal processes don't usually equate to a great experience for anyone involved. So those would be my selling points, that they'll enjoy what they do, provide better service, and be more effective.
Anybody else?
Sometimes will have light refreshments too. Usually gets
Councilmember Vaughn?
Council President, thank you, Ryan, for your presentation. I have two questions. The first is, in terms of goal setting for the particular lean program that you have, you mentioned there have been, I believe you said 36 graduate?
There was 24 graduates last fall, and including ones that had gone through the program prior to me, because Christy ran the program too, I think we're at about 30.
30, I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Oh, that's okay.
So do you have goals as far as each year, your goals to recruit, and what is kind of your metrics of success? Not to say there is a certain number,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a magic number, but what's kind of your vision in terms of having a set amount of colleagues being a part of the program?
Absolutely. Great question. I didn't share that, and my apologies. The two programs that in my 10 months here that I've identified are a definite need and interest are the process improvement or lean belting program and the project management program. So those I intend to offer annually. As far as I would like to get to a point to where we have enough green belts embedded throughout the organization that cross-departmental collaboration and efforts, because we offered a yellow belt program as well, and that was really more focused on, okay, I got a basis of the skills, I can apply it to the work I'm doing or the work my immediate team is doing. And whereas the green belts, we expanded on their ability to kind of facilitate a lean event. So my intention is to get it to where it's at least prevalent in every department that multiple green belts exist, so that when they do have cross-departmental collaboration, there's specialists on that team without a doubt that could help facilitate that type of work. So I don't have a number. You didn't ask for a number, but I just want it to be embedded throughout as much as possible. And once I see that maybe enrollment, hopefully I'm here for some time, and if I offer this annually and I see that enrollment is starting to wane, I'll probably do some analysis myself to see what is the percentage in our workforce? Has there been enough turnover to warrant continually offering this? If everybody who's taken it has already taken it, and maybe it's time for something new or different or something else to expand the workforce's skills. Excuse me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then thanks for presenting on the Tech Tuesday and really being instrumental in that. My other question, is that in terms of the programs that you've mentioned, How, I guess not necessarily how, but would opportunities arise for council members to be a part of it? Because I know as council members, we're kind of quasi-employee of the city, but that's something, has it been a part of discussion or how? Because I think I'm sure we could use a lot of continuous improvement and processes here
Certain.
as well.
I will, being a new employee, I don't want to misanswer anything. I don't know policies or anything behind it. So I will absolutely confirm, verify, double check, and find out if there is any stipulations or some applies, some doesn't. I'll find out and certainly connect back with all of you. Yeah.
President, one more question. So go back to the Gallup stats. Ryan, I'm always, whenever I see stats, I know you can do a lot of stuff with stats, and I mean, no doubt this stuff works, but like the 5 times more likely to feel more connected. I don't even know what they measure for that sort of thing. But my question to you, anecdotally, just in your time here, what have you heard, seen, experienced that supported, the statistics as far as more connected, less likely to leave? I mean, you heard about this stuff in Redmond and all that. Can you just kind of, when the rubber meets the road, speak to that?
Absolutely. And I'll share this. So the new employee orientations that I just enjoy every quarter that we offer them to meet the new people and really make that connection to the city's vision and mission. I've had an employee, I won't say names or departments, I've had more than one employee chat me after those orientations and say, I learned more today in our 3 hours about how the city functions than I have in the year or two I've been here. So that really moved me, as well as just reiterated that, okay, I'm going about this correctly. And in survey data, one of the first things that I did when I started here was look at internal surveys that had been taken in the past to get an idea for, okay, what are people feeling? What are they not connected to? What are they think some of our areas for growth might be? And a lot of it was just about the connectedness or moving forward, one city, one voice, kind of not operating as siloed as sometimes it happens just by the nature of our work, so being so different between the 9 departments. So I would say anecdotally, that is what I'm trying to accomplish, because I've seen and heard that people feel that disconnect. Even the engaged employees may not be clear that we're all moving in the same direction with the same end result in mind. So I'd say that's where I would focus, or that's what I see. Thank you.
I have one comment and 2 questions. My first comment is on employee orientation and cultural orientations. I've found that when organizations use the word onboarding as compared to orientation, it's connotative more of a commitment, of an indoctrination rather than just a presentation. It's really getting it makes the employee feel like they are really becoming part of something rather than just watching a presentation. So that would be my one comment. And then my first question is, how do those of our staff who work in the field, how do they access the 101 and the Tech Tuesdays and the classroom trainings?
Sure. We record them all. That's what the library was on the SharePoint site. So they're viewable by mobile phone or mobile device. We broadcast them during the Tuesday 9 to 10 o'clock hour. They could set up in their lunchroom if it was something that they wanted to view. Would just need internet and a laptop, really. But yes, they can view it at any time on their phone as well, because it's recorded.
And
I certainly hope so. So that is the direction of the city. I do encourage all supervisors and managers to make sure in our busy schedules that they prioritize staff development. So important.
Thank you. And then my next question is, this might be too early in your life cycle, but have you considered the concept of doing train the trainer?
Yes, and Christy and I have set some goals for myself in this coming year for, especially for lean, to be able to get my black belt, so that I could do a little bit more facilitation than I'm currently doing, and more possibly instructing and certifying of other belts. We do utilize, for a lot of the Tech Tuesdays and 101s, we do utilize a lot of internal subject matter experts. In fact, we pretty much only go out if I can't find someone internally qualified or certified to teach whatever the topic may be.
That's excellent, because there's power there within those teams. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's what I have. Anything, one more? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I have a question in terms of the cohort. You might have mentioned it. Is there a limit in terms of how many is selected in the program at that one time frame?
For certain trainings, if it's never for the 101s or the Tech Tuesdays, just because it's online and the more the merrier. For some of the in-person trainings, which I've been trying to kind of get us back to, I've just found the classroom training and the classroom conversations are so beneficial for like a project management or lean class. I do work with the instructor to find out kind of what is that happy maximum where it doesn't, doesn't jeopardize the learning environment, but it's also maximizing the space and getting as many people through it as we can. So typically I've seen now it's been around 24 to 30 for both those classes. And that's actually what I went with for the supervisors training that I led for over the course of 9 weeks. We did 25 of us in there, and that seemed to work well for small group facilitation, as well as it wasn't overwhelming if the 25 of us were all talking about the same thing. So, yeah.
And then I have just one last one. I know I'm cutting into people's breaks here, but I wanted to ask, and it might be a little bit premature in terms of data, but just something to keep in mind if you don't have it. I'm just assuming that you don't. That as folks are graduating, I would love to see data in terms of breakdown of race and ethnicity of those who've accomplished it. And it's just, I think for me, it's important to make sure that folks understand across all race and ethnicities, employees understand that working at the city of Renton is not a dead-end job, quite frankly. This is what I mentioned at council retreat, is opportunities for folks to build leadership, but also to move up the career ladder through the programs that you're initiating. So we'd love to kind of see the breakdown of that. And of course, race, ethnicities, age, and veterans, if possible.
What was the last one? I'm sorry.
Veteran status, if
Okay.
possible.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more question, and then we need to wrap it up. Go ahead.
Oh, more of just to add on to Councilmember Vans. When I worked for King County, they actually had that all on a floor stated in terms of like open positions, who applied and who received it based off of those very demographics. And having that amount of transparency also really increased employee engagement and also brought about like some demographic disparities in terms of promotion opportunities and who's interviewed. So it's definitely, it's work, but it's really beneficial. I've seen it be done. And if I think a large organization like King County can do it, I'm sure that we are able to do so as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. This is, I was just being asked a question about how do we claim that we're the municipal employer of choice? And now I got a slideshow to just, here's the link. That's how we do it. So
Thank you.
yes, thank you very, very much.
Absolutely.
Welcome and
Thanks,
welcome
Ryan.
aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so much.
Thanks for having me.